Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through all the noise, really pulling out the key insights from our research to help you get genuinely well informed. And for this deep dive, we're unpacking the, well, pretty extraordinary journey of Graham Stephan. You probably know him from YouTube, right? He's huge in real estate, personal finance. But what you might not know is just how improbable his origin story really is. We're talking zero to his first $100 K in a way that honestly seems almost impossible.
Exactly. And our mission here today is really to break down Graham's path, how he went from dropping out of college to making that first $100,000. And crucially, pull out the steps, the actionable things that you can actually apply in your own life, even if you feel like you're starting completely from scratch, like with nothing.
Yeah, so try and picture this for a second. Imagine Graham back then. No trust fund, definitely no silver spoon, no connections in finance or real estate, nothing like that. Just a young guy, Santa Monica, California, with a pretty audacious dream. Let's set the scene for how this whole thing kicked off. So, Graham grew up in Santa Monica. Comfortable family, sure, but not wealthy by any stretch. And here's something that might surprise you. He wasn't like a top student, not a straight A guy. He wasn't really on track for a typical career path. And he absolutely didn't have any insider connections. No leg up in finance or real estate, none.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is just how unconventional his start was. I mean, he didn't just pick a different route. He skipped college altogether, dove headfirst into real estate at just 18. Can you imagine being 18, trying to convince someone probably twice your age to trust you with selling their $500,000 house? He got rejected.
Yeah.
A lot, which, anyone who started something knows that feeling. It's a common hurdle, often pretty brutal, when you're breaking into a competitive field with zero experience.
Yeah, that's a massive amount of no's for an 18-year-old. So what was it? What allowed him to, not get totally discouraged by all that and instead actually double down on learning?
Well, I think it was more than just resilience. It was almost like a strategic humility. Graham knew he didn't have the experience, right? So he made it his vision to literally shadow experienced agents. He went to every open house he could, just soaked up advice like a sponge. And this brings up a really key question for you listening. What skill do you have? Even if it seems minor, that could open a door. Because Graham's first big actionable lesson was exactly that. Figure out what you can offer, even if it's small, even if it's, free at first. He started out just taking real estate photos for agents, the ones who didn't want to shell out for a pro photographer. And that free work wasn't just busy work. It was his way in. It let an 18-year-old with no track record build some trust, see how the business really worked from the inside.
Wow, that's smart. And his progress from that point was pretty quick, wasn't it? By 19, he'd closed his first big deal. But, okay, getting to $100 is one thing. Keeping it going, growing it, that's another challenge. He hit that first $100,000 in commissions within 3 years. How did he manage that kind of consistent growth so young?
Right, and this is where we really need to unpack his habits. Because his success isn't some kind of magic trick. And it wasn't really about working, 22 hours a day, though I'm sure he worked incredibly hard. The core principle for him was, honestly, almost disarmingly simple. Save and invest basically every single dollar he made. Simple, maybe, but definitely not easy. It takes incredible discipline to put off buying the nice things when others might splurge, to consistently plow that money back into your future.
Oh, yeah. His frugality is legendary. We're talking like buying used cars, eating super cheap meals. I mean, he's famous for that Starbucks iced coffee order that costs next to nothing, right? He just funneled all that extra cash straight back into his business, into his brokerage accounts. But how did he keep that discipline up, especially when his income started climbing? Because for most people, the lifestyle just creeps up right along with the income.
Yeah, and I think it connects back to his long-term vision. He wasn't just saving for, like, a rainy day. He was saving to invest. And this leads us to his sort of 3 foundational steps. These are direct takeaways for anyone listening. First, learn by doing, and absolutely don't be afraid to start at the bottom. Graham knew he didn't have the credentials, so he volunteered. He took on tasks other people thought were too small. He was literally building his resume one free photo shoot at a time. So for you, this could mean volunteering, freelancing, maybe even interning, just to get that foot in the door, get that initial experience.
Okay, that makes sense. And a second step.
Live below your means. Simple.
Right.
But it's not just about saving money. It's about creating options for yourself. Financial freedom, really. The less you need to live on, the more freedom you have, the more capital you have to invest in yourself or, your business. Graham famously lived on very, very little, even as his commissions grew. And that's what allowed him to just turbocharge his investment journey, reinvesting constantly.
Okay, got it. And the third step, this seems like the one that really builds wealth over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Invest early and invest often. Now, Graham started with real estate. Specifically, his early focus was on things like duplexes, so he could house hack, live in one unit, rent out the other, lower his own living costs while generating income. But you don't have to start with real estate. You can definitely start smaller. Maybe with index funds in just a simple investment account, or by consistently reinvesting profits from a side hustle that can scale up. What's really fascinating here is how these, almost boring habits, right? How they compound over time.
Yeah.
Dramatically, they create serious wealth down the line.
Right. But let's keep it real here. The path wasn't just, straight up. He definitely faced setbacks, lots of them. Deals falling through, clients ghosting him. He had years where his earnings dipped way lower than he expected. Given how unconventional his start was, what were some of the risks he was taking, and how did he navigate those without just, completely derailing?
hmm He basically treated every single failure like data. It
Yeah.
was information. Graham himself talks about how every no just got him closer to a yes. He genuinely seemed to treat each rejection as feedback to get better, not as some kind of personal failure. And that mindset that really highlights resilience as just a key ingredient for success in pretty much any field. But it also shows how important it is to have like a strong internal way of handling disappointment. He didn't just sit around feeling bad. He analyzed. He adjusted.
Okay, so let's fast forward. Today, Graham's a multimillionaire, runs several successful businesses. It's a genuinely remarkable story. But if you had to boil it down, what's the one enduring quality you think that really explains how he got from those super scrappy beginnings to where he is now?
I think it's the realization, the proof really, that the fundamental basics actually work. It's that simple, that combination of learning on the job, being relentlessly frugal, saving constantly, and consistently investing in growth. It just compounds. He didn't need to go viral on YouTube first to get successful. The success came from being consistent with those core principles. The viral stuff, that came later after the hard work.
Okay, so this is great insight, but what does it mean for you listening right now? What are the immediate things, the actionable first moves you could make, inspired by Graham? Let's do like a rapid fire checklist. First, list your skills. Seriously, even the ones that seem minor. Can you edit videos? Take decent photos? Are you good with spreadsheets? Maybe you're great at research. Write them down. Get specific. Second, actively look for small gigs or volunteer opportunities in an industry you actually want to break into. Think about offering something valuable for free just to get that foot in the door. Third, open an account, maybe a high-yield savings, maybe a simple investment account. Even if you only start with like $50, the amount isn't the point initially, it's building the habit. Fourth, commit to reading one book this month, personal finance or real estate. Graham himself really recommends The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Pick one, read it. And finally, track your money for the next 30 days, expenses and income. Don't judge yourself, just observe, see where it's actually going. Awareness is key.
Exactly. And just remember, it's really about progress, not perfection.
Right.
Most people who build something from the ground up, first-generation entrepreneurs like Graham, they didn't have it all figured out on day one, not even close.
Yeah.
It's that commitment to just keep learning, keep applying what you learn consistently. That's what makes the real difference over time.
Yeah, Graham's stuff and story isn't just inspiring, though it definitely is that. It's like tangible proof, isn't it? Proof that anyone with enough hustle, some humility, and a real commitment to learning can actually fundamentally change their financial situation.
So here's maybe a final thought for you to chew on. How might consistently applying just one of Graham's foundational principles, learning by doing, living below your means, investing early, just pick one. How might doing that consistently for the next year dramatically shift your trajectory? Even if you literally start today with just $50, just consider that power of compounding. Small, consistent actions adding up over time. It's powerful stuff.